Hi guys, hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and I want to welcome you to this Dragonfly project. It's a lot of fun. It's really fast, fun, and easy. This time I used watercolor pencils because that was a request, and the other request was to do the dragonfly. Here's what it looks like. Isn't that pretty? Let's get going and I'll show you how to do it. Hey all! So here we are. We have a dragonfly. I have on my list already bumblebees, honeybees, more flying critters like moths or other types of butterflies, and even a hummingbird. So if you have an idea for anything else that you think would be fun to see me do, let me know. There's going to be some more fishies and underwater things too, I think, at some point. So if you have something special that you would like to see me try that's underwater, let me know that also. I'm going to be using a gray crayola pencil to start outlining. I didn't want to have quite as hard of outlines as a black would do. You know, so, but it does, and I'll take it away, you can see, it does give you a nice outline. Now I'm going to be doing this mostly in fast forward, but before I get there, I wanted to let you know this template is available on my website, and the link is down below in the more information box. Now you notice I am not making these match up perfectly. These do not match perfectly, and that is perfectly okay. And you see, I already have that all outlined, and it only took us a couple minutes. I really love these projects. Now I am going to just sort of put a few little dots in the back of him here, because I forgot to outline those. There, they're already done. So now what I need is to find my watercolor pencils, because that's what I want to do. This dragonfly is going to have kind of a blues and greens body with maybe some purpley pinky type wings with a little bit of white in them. So I'm going to grab my watercolor pencils and be right back. All right guys, so what I have here are some Albrecht Dürer by Faber-Castell watercolor pencils. I was requested by one of our community to test watercolor pencils instead of using the Inktense. So I said, sure, I could do that. Now I do want to put a little bit of non-fluidy, non-dissolving, just Prismacolor white. And I'm going to put a couple spots. I'm going to put some in the eye, and there's going to be a couple spots going down the back. Now I don't know if this is going to act like a resist or not. We'll see. We'll see. And if it doesn't, I can always go back in with it. But I want to just get a couple spots with the white, just sort of sketched around the edges. And now I know you can't actually see that. Now you can see where I put the white. Just grabbed a dark board here. All right. But for now, I want to continue working on top of the white just so that I can see these other colors. I'm just going to take my Helio Blue, which is a reddish blue, which is a dark blue, and I'm going to put it kind of around in the areas where these little plates on his body sort of overlap. Just like that, and where it kind of overlaps into the wings too. Now this body is not a real, this is stylized. This is a stylized dragonfly. Now, I could have taken from a photo of a dragonfly and drawn a very realistic one, but then it would be something that we would want to be fussy with then. I don't want to be fussy here. I just want to have fun. Give him a little bit of that. Now I'm going to grab that lighter blue, and I'm just going to put some of that lighter blue in. I think I'm going to work some of that green in for some spots. So I'm just scribbling it in, because when you wet this, it's going to move the color around. So you don't have to be precious about it. This is a fun thing to do with kids. See, now I'm just throwing some of this green in. Did not even sharpen it, because I didn't want to waste the color. Now I want to put a little bit of this green coming out into the edge of the wings, even though I'm going to be using pink. It's going to just sort of join it up to the body a little bit. And I'm going to put a little bit of that shadow color in the wing here too, with that green. This is a fantasy dragonfly. It's my fantasy dragon. There we go. Ooh, that's going to be pretty. I'm putting all my colors on before I actually do the wetting down. This is the middle purple pink. And I enjoy this kind of a project because it doesn't require you to be fussy. It's just fun. And there's enough detail that when this is all shrunk down, it's going to look amazing. The fussiest part about this is just cutting it out. And then I'm taking the rose carmine. And this is kind of going to the underside of these wings. To the back edge. You notice I'm not worried about coloring outside the lines. If I do, no big deal. We're cutting this out. So when I'm smushing my colors around, a little bit of it up there. All right, I'm going to move those pencils out of my way now. So now I just have a water brush. I'm just using a paper towel, paper napkin, just making sure that I've got any color out of it. Oh, that looks so pretty already. Look at that. So now we're going to make this get wet. And if for some reason after it's shrunk, if the colors are not permanent on this plastic after it's shrunk, I can always hit the piece with a little bit of a clear finish spray like Krylon clear, and let it dry really well, and that will seal it. Now I'm kind of staying on the outside edges right now and just wetting that pigment from the pencil. Oh, sweet. Now I'm going to go to those green spots and just wet them a little bit so that they fill in their spaces. Remember, any little thing that you leave uncolored or whatever is fine, because this is going to shrink and your colors are going to intensify as the piece gets smaller. Your colors are going to intensify. It's also going to diminish any areas that you left uncolored. It's going to make them smaller. I'm drawing a little bit of that green blue up along that top edge. It's kind of nice to do that. So there, I'm going to just let that hang out like that now. And now, take most of that blue off my paintbrush. Just get some clean water out. All right, so now I'm going to come out here on the outer edge and work those pinks and purpley pink. And I'm going to leave some spaces with just the translucent showing through, I think. The translucent plastic to give a little bit of lightness to the wings. And then I'm going to move over to the, well, I want to get that one there. And now I'm going to move over to this side, work that pinky purple back in. Look at that. How fast that goes too. I mean, really, we are almost to the point. I'm going back in and wetting down a little bit of that blue and pulling it around that bottom edge a little. And now I will go and finish this one wing right here. And we're not being slaves to any of the lines. We're not being slaves to any of the locations of color. I might even take a few spots of that pink, just pick it up from out here and put a few spots of the pink into the body. Just because, and I'm just picking it up like it's a palette. Pick up some of that color. And look at that. That's pretty. Let's see. I want to work a little bit. Actually, I want to get a little bit of color right off the tip so I can drop a little bit of the pink back into that area. There, that's all. Just run this, squeeze it a little bit and just run it right on the paper, and it's all clean and ready for the next time. So now I am going to go ahead and cut this out. It is still wet. You can see the watery shine on here. It's still wet. So I'm going to just have to be kind of careful how I hold it as I am cutting out. But I think we can do this. So I am going to cut right up along the body And I'm not too worried about doing exactly on those bumpity bumps of his body, but kind of. And I'm also remembering not to go snip. See, when you snip, it tears. See if you can see that. See how that right there? That's what I'm talking about when I say when it tears. It's not a clean cut. If I go like this, you have a nice clean cut. And when you snip, it pops. And it's actually tearing the plastic. So don't go clear out to the tippy edge of your scissors. That's what I'm talking about. And now we are down to just this little bit right here at the front of his face. And around there. Woohoo! And these pieces are actually big enough to get some other projects done. So I don't waste my sheets. I'm even going to save these little bits because I saw a project that looked like fused glass and they used colored scraps of shrink plastic. So I want to try that because I think it will be really cool. Now, we're going to toss this on here. I'm going to go ahead and brighten this screen up. It's going to be a little bit too bright for a second, but once it starts shrinking, we need it brighter. All right, so here we go. Now, I just set this on top of a piece of cardboard that's wrapped with foil just to help redirect the heat back up. I am using a wooden skewer to keep it down. Now, I had somebody on the butterfly video ask, why am I doing this with a heat tool? And I am doing it with a heat tool because it's more fun for you guys to see it. And I'm only doing one piece at a time. If I were doing several pieces, I would put them onto a baking tray and stick them in my oven. I'm trying to think, if this is going to be a dragonfly that's flying this way, or if I'm going to hang it. I think I'm going to hang it by the two wings. So I'm going to do a little hole punch out here. Actually, a little more centered up. There, and there. So when it's hanging, it will hang by these points right here. I think that will work just fine. All right, now we're going to speed up. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look how sweet. I'll leave my hand behind it there. Look how sweet that little dragonfly is. He is going to look so pretty being hung by two chains, right like this, just like you saw in the opening. And, okay, Now, the test, I'm just going to take the water brush and I'm going to get a little edge of this wet and see if, okay, so that's really wet. I'm scrubbing on it with my brush and we'll wipe off just right here. Okay, so a little bit of the color is coming off, ever so slightly, but that was really, I was really scrubbing on it. See if I could like scrub a little hole in it or anything. Okay, you see that is really, I don't know if you can see, you see how wet that is. I really got that wet and I'm scrubbing, and it's barely, you can't even hardly see that. It is just barely pulling color off. So I will probably go ahead and put a clear coat on this. And I even have, ooh, how about this? I have some of the Liquitex iridescent medium. This is an acrylic and it has a shiny iridescence to it. And I'm just taking a tiny bit on my finger and just dab it off a little bit. And I'm just going to brush some of that on. Ooh. Okay, so you can see the difference. It's like, it's almost like putting glitter on here, but it's not. It's just giving it some shiny iridescence. I like that. I'm gonna just do the other side too. Just sort of buffing it on. And because this is an acrylic medium, it's actually got like plastic. So it is going to seal that in. And I think I will even just put a little bit on the rest of his body, just to make him all shimmery. Look at that. Ha! Love it. There we are. Shimmery dragonfly, ready to hang on a chain and be worn as a necklace. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure and click the notification bell and turn on notifications for the channel. And leave me a comment and let me know what type of underwater creatures would you like to see me do. I have a whole bunch of winged critters already lined up to go, and underwater I think is where I want to go next after that. I do have acrylic pouring videos that go up every Monday, so never fear if you're part of my acrylic pouring crew, there's still more fluid acrylic paintings coming every Monday. The shrinky plastic ones are going to be my little obsession right now though, for midweeks and maybe even weekends. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, make sure that you go out and do something creative. Take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. And I hope to see you back here again really soon. Bye-bye.